Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Michael, and you're watching SOULCASTER. Everything having to do with faith, life, spiritual implements, and the journey. Most important, the journey. And today in the studio, we have with us Mikki Ma'at. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
You're doing good?
Super good.
Super good, super great.
Phantasmical.
There's a little social media thing there,
Okay. Yes.
so people can find you. So let's start this out with who are you? Where you from?
I am Mikki.
Okay.
I'm from Queens, born and raised, Jamaica. I still live in Queens, technically. I'm a Queens girl.
And now let's say for those that don't understand that's Jamaica, New York.
Jamaica, New York. Jamaica, Queens. Boop, boop, boop.
Now you're a musical artist.
Yes.
A model.
Yes.
You also create
Jewelry.
jewelry. And you do some
Hair.
economic building too.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So you thought I forgot about that part.
Yes.
See?
So a lot of what I do incorporates healing, beauty, and just overall, like, even with my music, I just feel like it's all about healing. It's all about being able to pull it to center and focus on being a better version of yourself.
So let's start out. You as a child and the different aspects of what you do now. Like, how did those things come into your life?
I grew up, I feel like, in a household that really, really appreciated all kinds of music.
Okay.
All different kinds of genres. I grew up in a mixed race household as well,
Okay.
so I feel like that was also something that had a lot of flavor. Had a lot of different kinds of things coming in. I had opera, I had the Rolling Stones, I had the Beatles, I had Queen, I had Nirvana, I had a lot of rap, R&B, Michael Jackson, Mariah Carey, like all of that being.
Now I can tell you're old
blasted.
school. You know why?
Why?
You said rap. You didn't say hip hop.
Well, yeah, it's rap. We had rhythm and poetry. You know, I'm familiar with hip hop. So,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I am familiar with a lot of different older artists. I feel like that contribute to my flavor and my style right now.
And how would you describe your flavor, your style?
It's kind of like, I grew up with a lot of rock influence, so for a while I was in bands, and now I'm kind of like a solo artist or just kind of doing my own thing. So it's kind of like neo soul with a lot of like, I would definitely say like post-hardcore elements and blues elements. So it was a lot of melodic hardcore, a lot of like rhythmic guitar, I like heavy drums. But I also like different kinds of influences. So if I'm going with rhythm, it's going to be bluesy, jazzy, it's like everything. So, and I feel like a lot of people see that in my music and will really be like, what is this? You know?
It's interesting. So, because you have this, let's say, you have a Fleetwood Mac thing going on.
Okay, yeah.
As far as vocals, right? I could see you like the rock and the rhythm.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a hip hop thing going on there too.
Oh yes, for sure.
So that makes a lot of sense. So did your family say, "Hey, get into this," or did you just say, "Hey, one day, Mom, I want to sing"? Like
yeah, that was really what it is. My family has always been the go to school, get a job, and get it together. But my mom has always been like, express yourself. Do whatever makes you feel good. So having that was also very, very empowering in my lifetime. So I feel like I've been singing since I was young, though. And I started taking it serious when I was about 11 years old. I had been singing. I have an older sister, but me and her have a significant age gap, so I spent a lot of my time listening to her CDs. And just, like, listening to her Walkman and just, like, playing all kinds of crazy stuff and all kinds of Brandy CDs. And I don't know. And I remember my mom being like, okay, well, I see you're, like, really digging this. And she started filtering some of what I was listening to.
Right.
She thought Brandy was too grown for me. And Monica was too grown for me. So I had to listen to Mariah Carey, Butterfly, and all kinds of things like that. But I feel like I started to pursue it in school.
Okay.
They had a choir, chorus kind of class thing, and I decided that I was going to sign up. And I signed up, and I remember I was 11 years old, and they have a circle, and everyone's supposed to sing in order, and when I came to sing, it was my turn, and I sang, and my teacher pointed at me and made everybody laugh at me, and was like, "You have the worst voice I've ever heard." Wow. And I was 11, and I'm sitting here, and I'm like, I'm an 11-year-old, and I'm looking at her like, wow, like, that's crazy. And now I'm having like this moment. I forgot her name. She had with Simon Cowell. She was like, did that movie with Beyonce. I forgot her name.
Oh, yes, Jennifer Hudson.
Yes, Jennifer Hudson. Like, I want to throw my Grammy through this woman's window. Like, take that.
Right.
But it's just so interesting that now I feel like that really fueled me.
And you know what? For any of the, I don't even just say, they always say, well, for any of the young fans out there. No, just for anybody, no matter what, ageism, that say, hey, that's what inspired you? Like, what made you say, you know what? You said this, but I'm going to use that as fuel.
Yeah.
Like, what was...
I mean, she said that to me, and initially, I think she wanted me to crumble. Mm-hmm. She wanted me to feel embarrassed, and I didn't let myself do that because I knew I had a lot of potential. Okay. And I was like, I might not have grew up in church where I've been singing since I was 3 years old, but what I can do is start now or continue to pursue it. So I stopped going to chorus, and I started singing on my own time, and I started a music group.
Okay.
And with a couple of my friends that I was in school with, and we started writing and singing songs when we were really young in the school bus, and just doing that. And then I remember it was kind of like a TLC thing. That
now,
was
were
really
you
cool.
crazy, sexy, or cool?
I was definitely crazy.
Okay.
I'm always crazy. Okay. I'm the wild one for sure. I'm always the scary spice in the situation. So.
Now, music is the passion. That's the main focus,
yes.
correct?
Yes, it is.
But then how did you end up getting into crystals and other jewelries?
Yeah.
And
Well, like I said, my family has a lot of...
show people
sure.
some of this. And these are stuff that all this that you've made, correct?
Yes, I've made all of these, crafted them. I do a lot of wire work and bead work. I was actually introduced into crystals when I was really, really young. My grandmother that I grew up and lived with, she was a medium before I was born. And she also practiced Santeria. Okay. So she had a lot of mystical things around the house that I feel like weren't explained to me.
Right.
But out of my curiosity and me just being a touchy-feely person, I've always had them, seen, or been attracted to them, and have gifts that my grandmother had given me since I was a child. And a lot of her jewelry that I'm wearing now actually is also crystal jewelry, which is like antique jewelry with stones. So it's pretty cool to know that it's not a new thing. It's something that's been around and I've actually been exposed to in my life. So I've always had a connection, but I feel like what rekindled it is kind of like the popularity. I noticed a lot of people were into that stuff now, and not only was it time for me to be able to capitalize on that, but it's also I provide knowledge that comes with it. A lot of people don't really know about the stones, where they come from, what minerals.
Let me ask you, because you have like a whole thing going on.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
Yes, there's a lot.
Do you feel that you can wear too many? Does any kind of like...
No.
One thing kind of stops another one from working?
No. Crystal energy is abundant. And I think that humans limit this crystal energy so much sometimes. They're like, oh, you can't touch it. And you can't put your energy on it. And you have to cleanse it. And it's like, bro, did you know that this shit was doing its thing way before you cut it out of the ground and polished it? You know what I mean? It was always going to be a pure energy. It was always going to work for you, because that's what it was created for. So I don't think there's a single thing that we could really do to halt the energy, or I know some people tether spirits to stones sometimes. Even then,
isn't that cruel?
Yeah, but the crystal, the crystal energy, is pure, so it works its way out. Even if you try to do something negative, it transmutes energy. So anything negative around it is automatically going to be neutralized. That's
how can people support you financially, which is important?
Yes.
How do people buy
my jewelry? So a lot of my stuff is custom order only, or just like whatever I post on my social media. If I have stuff that I made randomly, it goes pretty quickly though. Like I'll make it, I'll post it, someone will be like, I want to buy it, and I ship it out.
Right. Okay.
So you guys can support me on my Instagram page, which is Crystal Rebellion, which is for the jewelry. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I don't want to forget this part too. How do people support your music?
So my music right now is in the final processes of being put onto all major streaming platforms.
Okay.
So at the moment, I'm on SoundCloud and on YouTube.
Okay.
And I post a lot of footage on my own social media page and like my IGTV.
Okay. So. Now, where's the connection between crystals and the music and the modeling? Like is there a connection between?
There definitely is a connection, and I feel like I mentioned it briefly. It's healing. A lot of it has to do with I feel like with modeling is something I'm very familiar with. I've been doing since I was 14.
Accident, or you wanted that as well?
My mother was like, you have to do this.
Okay.
So after I finally had so many offers and so many things come through when I was a child, my mom was always very like, oh, I want you to do this, but you know, I never wanted to as a child. But when I was like in high school, I was like, I think I want to do this. So I went for it, and it's been something I've been doing for a long time now, obviously. But I think that for me was a healing process, modeling, coming across other models, seeing what their journey is like, being photographed or being a prop sometimes I feel like has its own emotional thing to it. It's transparency at best. You know, when I feel like I'm modeling, it's not like acting. Acting is like I'm putting myself in a mood and I'm there, and then sometimes a lot of modeling, what people want to capture is really just me. And not what I want to pose as, or you know. So a lot of time I'm just like chilling and like going through.
And I blame the media too, because when they created the concept of the supermodel, was only because the actors thought it was beneath them to do the commercials. It was beneath them to do the ads. It was just this whole movement. A lot of people don't know this. I'm a real actor, so I can't do this. So they're like, you know what? We're gonna build up these women to be the supermodels. When economically that made no sense, and but before then, you know, you're a walking hanger, especially with live shows. Like you're literally a hanger. You're a mannequin, and not in a disrespectful way, but that's the whole point.
That's what you get paid for,
right?
And when you don't get paid for it, it's also very interesting.
Yeah,
because it's like, am I doing this for me now? And a lot of the time, I realize now I don't really do any of it for me. It's not my real interest, but I know that a lot of the time people just want to prop me. I'm a prop. I can be stylized and customized, and I also do that to other people as well. I'm heavy in fashion, doing hair, makeup, coordination.
So I get the hookup?
Yes, I got you. Say less. But,
what keeps you going?
What keeps me going?
Yeah, like, you know, so this is a crazy business.
Yeah.
This is a crazy business.
Yeah.
Not to say that other businesses aren't. Anything in the arts and entertainment, it takes a toll.
Yeah.
What implements, faith, what things keep you going?
I mean, I recently lost my mother.
My condolences.
Thank you. To suicide. So I just feel like that's like a drive for me personally. I feel like I don't have anything to fall back on. You know, a lot of people are like, all right, I fail, I go back to my parents' house. Or I fail, I can just ask for some money from this person. And all of that for me, all of that safety, that comfort even, is gone. So I have to be that source for myself.
You got to do it.
I have to do it. I have to be like, if I was my own child, which is why you were asking me earlier if I wanted to have children. I am my own child at the moment. And it is like caring for me and giving myself vitamins and being like, oh, did you have enough water? Are you okay?
Right.
Because no one's going to do that.
You become your own little voice.
Yeah, and I feel a lot of that. You have to. You have to do that for you when you don't have it, you know, because it has to come from somewhere.
Do you ever feel like, you know what, I'm done, and then some light bulb moment or something happens that says, no, keep going?
I never feel like I'm done.
Okay.
I just have this thing in me. I don't quit. It's a blessing and a curse for me. I feel like sometimes I'm like, all I want to do is just reach this goal. Okay. And then when I reach that goal, I'm like, all I want to do is just reach this next goal. Right. And I'm like, oh, it's never ending. I'll never be satisfied.
But is that the trick? Just take it step by step?
It's just to be grateful. That's my biggest thing. If you go on my page, you'll see that a lot too. Okay. Gratitude. That's how I get everything. Like, I've been put in a lot of crazy, or like as people would say, shitty or just bad situations in life. And I just sit there and I think about what good they might have brought me. Like, even if it's not the ideal situation, or it's a situation that I didn't necessarily want to be in, what has it done for me? And how does it make me better? And how can I be happy about how it made me better? And so I can make room for more things to come from it. So it's like a lot of the time I feel like we limit our abundance because we're like, this isn't going the way that I wanted it or I expected it to go. A lot of it is about expectations and not being grateful. Like, for one moment, like, even for me, like, recently I had a situation with a friend, and I helped him move in, and we found out that he got scammed. And he just put down a lot of money to secure this apartment, and it was kind of like sleeping in a U-Haul in the in-between time with his lease and this one. And it was just really crazy that he got hoodwinked, and it was out of his desperateness. It's like, oh, I have to just do this now. So I feel like because he jumped on an opportunity, and it's just like, you know, it kind of just fell through for him. But I was like, in the moment, everybody was like really upset, and I get why you're upset. You just, you know, all your money and everything. Right. But I'm like, you're here right now. Like, you're literally in the house right now. You're in a bed right now. Like, you have a kitchen right now. Like, you have a bathroom right now. And that might not be here tomorrow or whatever it is, but this is what you initially were saying that you wanted so badly, and you have that, even if it's just for a little bit of time where you can just relax and collect your thoughts and think about where you're going to move on to, and you don't have to do that somewhere where it's inconvenient, you know. And I know that they're like, oh, you're just Miss Brightside, Miss Sunshine, and it's like, I don't know. I guess so. Like, would you like for me to be miserable? Right. Or point out the obvious?
Right. Yeah, you know, that's interesting because, if you don't look at things in balance, look at things for what they are, and what they are isn't always the yin and not always the yang. Yeah. This is we manifested and got you on the show. So I would like to do and talk about some of your economic building and thought, but I would like to do that in a separate clip. Okay. So can you just let people know again, you know, your website, Instagram, and all that other good stuff?
You can find a little bit about my healing at healinghiatus.com. Also, I offer holistic services on there. And you guys can find me on my social media, which will be Mikki Ma'at and Crystal Rebellion for the jewelry.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, really appreciate you taking this time and hanging out with the folks. SOULCASTER. I'm Michael. You're watching SOULCASTER. And look out for the second clip. We're going to talk about being an artist, trials and tribulations in economic building and thought. Again, you're watching SOULCASTER. Thank you so much. And you can find SOULCASTER on geekcaster.com. Talk to you soon.